You're listening to episode 8 of the Neon Lounge podcast.
Welcome to the Neon Lounge. Right this way.
It's the Neon Lounge. We're talking about Las Vegas. In the Neon Lounge, a conversation for the ages. Get dressed up real pretty. We've got a date in Sin City at the Neon Lounge.
Welcome to the Neon Lounge podcast. We are glad you decided to join us today while we talk about Las Vegas and enjoy each other's company. I'm your host, Josh. With me are my incredible co-hosts. Of course, we have Keren.
Hello, everyone.
And Tony.
Hey, gang.
How is everyone doing?
Oh, I'm glad it's Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet. How are classes going? In your thankfulness that it's Friday, is that somewhat playing a factor of, or maybe I mean that the other way around? Is the schooling playing a factor in why you're so TGIF today?
A little bit. It's been so. I think I told you guys that part of what I'm doing now in this class is classroom work in the morning and then working in the bistro, the student-run bistro in the afternoon. Well, The bistro closed for a renovation. And so we're still cooking, but we're doing it in a makeshift kitchen in the back in like the big production kitchen area. So nothing is where it's supposed to be. And so this week has been a little hectic. We only have one KVS, which is the kitchen video system, which is where the orders come into. So normally when an order comes in, if it has to go to the grill, just the part that has to go to the grill goes there. Just the part that has to go to the salad station goes there. Just the part that has to go to the sandwich station goes there. And then the expo person puts everything together and before it goes out. Well, we only have one monitor where everything's coming in at, and the only person that can see it is our chef instructor who's expoing and calling out orders. So it's been a little bit like if you don't catch something the first time he calls it out, you're kind of scrambling going, what did he say?
Interesting.
So that's been a little, and it's so hot. It is, because again, you're just in the back of this massive industrial kitchen, and I can't tell you how many times, and they tell you to do this, anyone who's worked in a kitchen will know, like, you're just like, all right, I need to go in the walk-in. And you literally just go into the walk-in cooler and just kind of stand there because you're like, okay, got to bring the body temperature down, got to cool off a little bit. All the sweat all of a sudden starts, freezing on your body when you're on there. But no, this so I just finished up the second week, so it's been since the last time we did the podcast. But this class now, we actually are like doing some real cooking. So in the last 2 weeks, and I know I'm going to forget something, we've done Kung Pao chicken, we've done Korean fried wings with kimchi fried rice, we've done chicken Milanese over polenta, we've done chicken caprese parmesan, or not parmesan.
Keren, do your instructors need help with grading these assignments by any chance?
Surely we have
I should send you guys some pictures of these foods, because this class, not only you're making it, but we're getting like presentations, a big part of it. And some of these plates, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty impressed with myself. They've turned out pretty good. So yeah, it's been awesome. And because I cook in the morning, whatever we plate up, then we get to take. So that's my lunch for the day.
That's so fantastic.
Nice.
Yes. So it's been, it's a lot of fun. I've got one more week in the kitchens, and then we switch to, assuming I pass, because we have a practical again next Friday. Assuming I pass that, we go to the big kitchen at the 500 building, which is the Las Vegas government building. So it's kind of like an amphitheater. It's the same building where you go to file your marriage license after the wedding. It's right across the street from the outlet mall. So if anybody knows where the North Outlet malls are, it's right there. But it's actually like the cafeteria for there. And so my last 3 weeks will be working there. So
is that all you've got left, Keren? Is just 3 weeks?
4.
Wow,
so I've got next week and then the 3 more weeks too. Yeah. So I've got 4 more weeks left.
Wow, that seems, I mean, probably not for you since you've been having to deal with it day in and day out, but it just seems like, because I was doing the math in my head, I'm like, well, I saw her in June and she didn't announce it until July. So she's probably only like, a month into it, but no, you only have a month left. That's wild. How cool.
It's gone pretty fast. I will tell you that I'm desperate in need to have some regular revenue coming into the household. So I do think at this point, although I've got a couple irons in the fire for things in the financial realm, which is what I've been doing. This program has a very solid and strong placement program. And so I think I'm going to at least give it a try.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I may try to start working in kitchens and just see how it goes. I don't know. My biggest concern, and this is going to sound so bad and so, first world problems is, can I earn enough to keep myself in the lifestyle to which I have grown accustomed to?
Right. Sure. Yeah. No, that's a fair bar by which to, measure if this is something that you would want to do.
Right.
But
it's like the add-on stuff, right? So it's again, the only debt that I have is the mortgage, and I have a stupidly low interest rate on that, so that's not a problem. But like right now, like I need something that offers health insurance because I'm paying for Cobra every month. Sure. Would I like to get my house cleaners back with the fur and the hair that I'm constantly battling? Yes, I would like to do that again. So I mean, there's just certain things that I would like to kind of go back to a normal kind of thing. So
of course.
We'll see. And it might just be something I try until one of the other things that I have working kind of pops and see how it goes. But yeah, I might be really exhausted if I start working in kitchens. We might have to pick a different recording time because
that's true.
I don't know. Friday nights, I would think would
pretty
be
busy in restaurants, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you asking for Friday nights off because you want a podcast when you work in a Vegas restaurant? Yeah, I'm sure that'll go over like a ton of bricks.
Exactly. So that's going good.
No, I love this. I could not be more excited for you.
So I was going to ask you, Tony. Because we've had since we started. If anybody who knows us from 360 Vegas, we've had a fairly dry podcast since we got going here for various reasons, but I noticed you've got something in your hand that's a little pink and in a wine glass or something. What are you rocking there, Tony?
This is a gin and tonic with
nice.
A lime wedge worth of lime juice squeezed into it, and a healthy shaking of some cranberry bitters in there.
Oh, nice.
And,
okay.
Yeah, it's just a really nice, light, refreshing sort of drink. It's a big wine goblet, so I can pour pretty heavy, but it's got a ton of ice in it. So as the ice melts, it'll help thin this out for me. But yeah, I kind of have gotten to the point where I don't mind having just like a drink while we're podcasting. I don't necessarily want to get so blitzed that that when I listen back to the podcast, I'm listening to it for the first time as if I was a listener versus a podcaster. But yeah, so I just thought
what's even worse. So Mark's sister Brandy has started going back and started listening to all the 360 Vegas podcasts from the beginning.
Yes.
And
God
she
bless
got
her.
into an episode in the 70s and she called me and she was like, holy shit, you were hammered. Like, you were slurring your words so bad. And I'm like, yeah, that happens from time to time.
Yeah.
And that had to be
but it does.
12 years ago. So you have no idea, right?
No,
what
I
you
have
were
no
talking
clue.
about. Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
She couldn't even tell me. She knew I was so drunk and she thought it was hilarious.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
yeah, well, it happened. So,
Well, how about you two? Keren, I see you've got a glass in your hand. What's in that glass?
I'm still kind of cutting back on alcohol in general. So that's actually kombucha with just some seltzer water in it.
Nice. Very
So-
cool. And Josh, I see you've got a glass. What are you enjoying?
So I have an old fashioned made with Woodford Reserve, and then yesterday was my birthday.
Congratulations.
And one of-
Happy belated.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Which we're not ignoring that. We did tell you happy birthday before we hit the record
You
button.
did. You did. It's not actually little man behind the curtain, as Tony likes to say. It's not actually a surprise to them. My wife got me for my birthday bourbon candied orange peel
Ooh.
like slices, right? So it's in the
Yes.
jar, kind of like Luxardo cherries, right? Where it's in a
Yeah.
jar with heavy syrup. And they had a recipe on the jar where it was like, make an old fashioned, but instead of using simple syrup or sugar, take a half a teaspoon of
Sure, yep.
the
That
candied stuff, the
Yum.
syrup in there, and it's pretty good. So
That's
yeah, so
That's
just
fantastic.
a lot of orange in it, but it's pretty good.
Well, and orange I think just plays so nicely with
Oh, yeah.
bourbon anyway. So that is a super cool way to make an old fashioned. Something I want to put on the listeners' radar, particularly if your first names may be John and or Jen, and you live in the Missouri area, this would be right up your alley. So this weekend, tomorrow specifically Saturday, the 22nd, my wife and I are doing a tiki night at our house. We've already got some tiki cocktails pre-batched
Nice.
up. And we purchased a documentary off from Apple TV called The Dawn of Tiki, DONN, The Dawn of Tiki. And it is a documentary about a fellow that became Don the Beachcomber. And Don the Beachcomber is by and large considered to be the grandfather of tiki, the tiki world, or essentially what creating it. So here's the deal. Most people think that tiki drinks come from, say, the South Pacific, places like
Right.
Tahiti and Bora Bora, when in reality, they're 100% a completely made up version of cocktails that came out of Los Angeles in the 1930s. And this whole world of tiki genre, just exploded in the 30s and the 40s and somewhat into the 50s. Yeah. And they made a documentary. These two guys, they went around the country doing screenings of this documentary. And my wife and I went to Grand Rapids one particular Monday and went and saw the movie. And then they were doing an after party at one of the local tiki bars in Grand Rapids. So we went to that. And we got to meet them and talk to them a little bit about the documentary. But the documentary is finally released in digital format, so you can get it off from Apple. So we pre-ordered it. It dropped today, and because we're podcasting right now, my wife said, well, let's just save it. Let's save it for Saturday, and let's just make a whole day out of it. And we won't go anywhere all day, and we'll have pre-made tiki cocktails already batched up, and then we'll have a big pasta dinner so that when we start really imbibing after dinner, we'll turn the documentary on, we'll rewatch the movie in the comfort of our own home, where we can get just totally sloshed on tiki drinks. So that's also a way of me
Sounds like
saying,
you better be careful putting this out there. You might have two friends named John and Jen popping up on your doorstep this weekend.
Ding dong
to join you.
Rum in one hand, and yeah, exactly. Orgeat in the other hand. But that being said, kids, that does mean that Tony has already got some Patreon video content coming your way for tiki drinks.
I gotta plug those because you've been cranking those videos out, and there was a lot of hilarious content week before with the bomb pop pro-sickle things.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Like that video, guys. If you aren't let's say you're just not interested in a particular cocktail, or you're just not interested in making your own drinks at home, you should still be watching Tony's cocktail videos. Just for the pure entertainment value. Like some of the dialogue between Tony and his wife while they're trying out these different concoctions. And then you went the extra mile. This last week, there was, you started the video saying you're going to make 2 hurricane drinks.
Right.
and then ended up kind of reworking them as the video went on. And so there are 4 hurricane recipes on the latest
good
video.
Lord.
Yeah. So, and you get this commentary through the whole thing. So when you finally decide, hey, I want to make a hurricane, based on Tony's commentary, which one you may want to make. So highly recommend it. I just sit here giggling to myself when I'm editing them, getting ready to post them. And again, all my editing is kind of putting the logo in the corner and putting the title video, the little title credits video at the beginning. That's it, because I want everyone to get that raw Tony that they come looking for. So
I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Listen, my wife and I have a lot of fun making these videos. She is not mic'd, so sometimes you can, and Josh, I think you probably can hear it clearest of all because you're listening, I assume, with headphones on, or at least in a relatively quiet environment. She's not mic'd, so a lot of times I'll have to repeat back because I am mic'd what she's saying to be able to give feedback. But she gives, the best part is the worst part. Unfortunately, the viewers don't get to see my wife's reactions to these cocktails. And when she loves a drink, her face shows it. And when she hates a drink, her face shows it. So, we do it.
Your wife is very expressive. She does not usually, and she can play it straight when she needs to, but in the comfort of her own home, her facial expressions are pretty telling. I can only imagine.
Exactly.
You must need a little personal camera just for us on her, just so I could see her reactions to some of these. I know she has no interest in being on camera, but
she does not. But it is. I always appreciate when she either, like I said, really likes it, and sometimes she's ambivalent to it, and that's okay too. She'll give a little meh face, but boy oh boy. When she does like it and when she does not like it is the most fun. So thank you. That's a very nice plug and very kind words. I appreciate it. Well, listen, we have yammered on long enough. I think we should start the show. Welcome again to the Neon Lounge, and we start with This Week in Las Vegas History.
This week in Vegas history, August 30th, 1946, the Golden Nugget opened downtown. Guy McAfee's Golden Nugget opened on Fremont Street months before the Flamingo, and the Mob Museum notes that roughly 20,000 people were invited to the grand opening.
In 1946?
I don't know if they were just like, they put an ad in the newspaper and invited the town. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Because there's no way you could fit 20,000 people inside the Golden Nugget.
No. Yeah, I don't know how that worked. Did they put an ad in like the Vegas newspaper inviting everyone in town?
The whole city.
And that's how
the town was about 20,000 people at that time or what? I don't know how that worked. But yeah, it says, and I confirmed it. Mob Museum does say that 20,000 people were invited to the grand opening. So on next Sunday, August 30th, the property will celebrate its 80th birthday. A lot of people see the 1905 and the old pictures of the Golden Nugget. They had that crusty looking nugget on the corner, and it said 1905, and they thought that was when the Golden Nugget opened. No, that refers to the founding of Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
But it took another 31 years before the Golden Nugget itself opened. There you go.
Well, I am doing a quick and dirty little Google search here, and it says that the population of Las Vegas in 1950 was only 25,000 people. So yes, Josh, I am going to say that your guess that they must have put it in a newspaper, and then that's and whatever the circulation was, the reach of the newspaper is probably how they got to that. Well, no, I guess that's not true. I guess 25,000 in 1950 would be maybe 20,000 by mid 1940. So, yes, still, Josh, I stand by your statement that they probably put it in whatever the newspaper of the day was in Vegas, and that's what their quote unquote invitation was. But because you're right, Karen, it didn't occur to me because I guess how cool is that in 2026 I think about how big the Nugget is present day, And you know, even that, it couldn't, but it could hold so many more people today than it could have, 80 years ago. So
right. Its footprint was much smaller in 1946.
Gosh, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to get into the news. Let's find out what's going on in Vegas.
From the strip to downtown, we'll pass it around. Here's what's going down in Las Vegas.
Wow. Josh, you really, really grabbed the major, certainly Twitter headlines of what happened over the last 2 weeks in Vegas.
My gosh.
Let's talk about the OYO shit show.
And I got to say, with that title, the OYO shit show, I could have applied shit show to all of our other stories that we have in the news because it really was. I told Tony in a text message today, like, this is the Las Vegas I love. There was, I don't know if the heat is getting to everyone or what, but there was a series of shit shows over the last couple weeks. And so we're excited to talk about it with you guys. Let's start with OYO. I think this is the biggest one. So a traveler by the name of Ariana Patino booked what appeared to be a hotel just off the Las Vegas Strip called Palette Las Vegas through Booking.com. And she knew enough about Las Vegas that she didn't want to stay at the OYO, but she booked this hotel for Palette. But when she arrived, the address led her to the OYO Hotel and Casino. Now, if you don't know, the OYO used to be Hooters. Before that, it was the San Remo. And it originally started actually as a Holiday Inn, but the OYO itself has a reputation of being probably the dirtiest, nastiest, strip-adjacent casino that there is.
Yep.
Okay.
It's had troubles with their elevators for months and months, probably over a year at this point. There are stories of they make guests either take the stairs or they have an employee running a freight elevator because for some reason they can't have the guests pushing buttons in the freight elevator. I don't know. But having an elevator operator in the freight elevator to get guests up and down, it has a terrible reputation.
Yeah.
So she was shocked to arrive at the OYO. And so when she arrived, staff said, you're at the right place. Palette is the OYO. So Vegas Starfish, and we have been critical of her reviews in the past, but I will say this is a news story, and she found this and kind of blew it up. And further digging went on to find a second listing on third-party sites like Booking and Expedia and stuff, where it was also listed under Collection O Las Vegas, connected to the same OYO property. So what they were doing is they were using heavily altered and AI-generated images, replacing the exterior OYO signage with Palette or Collection O branding, and showing upgraded-looking rooms.
Yep.
They were also not using the exact address of OYO. So OYO is at 115 East Tropicana, while Palette and Collection O were listed at either 117 East Tropicana or 119 East Tropicana, which, if you put that into your map software or whatever, your map app, it's going to get you to their parking lot.
Yeah.
So, like I said, these listings appeared on Booking, Expedia, as well as on OYO's own website. Now, Palette and Collection O are legitimate brands that are owned by Prism, which is OYO's parent company. But the problem is that they did not have actual Las Vegas versions or separate hotels that were operating under these brands. You know how you go to Resorts World and there's 3 Hilton brands there that you can kind of choose from, and you do get a different experience in those different brands. Right. They didn't actually have this. They just took AI and said, take out the OYO and add the Palette or add the Collection.
And clean up the rooms and make it look better, fancier, prettier.
Right. So as the shit show spread from this and people were becoming aware of it, booking sites, these third-party sites, started suspending the listings. Prism, the parent company, said oh, these listings accidentally went live early.
Oh.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I think that, and everybody thinks what they were trying to do is say, okay, we have shitty ratings for our hotel,
Yeah.
so let's just invent a new hotel.
Right. Well, let's take our existing brands, right? Because they like I said, they're legit brands, and they're like, well, okay, so OYO has a bad reputation in Las Vegas, so let's just call it something else, without fixing the problem of what makes OYO shitty to begin with.
Right, because it's way cheaper to
And
just
if you
change the
think-
name.
But this is what's just dumbfounding to me, because it's like, okay, people are going to show up and realize they're not at Palette.
Yeah.
They're not at Collection O.
Yeah.
They're at OYO. And they know what it is. And they're going to be mad to be there, because whatever they saw on the travel website to book this is not what they're going to get.
And I don't know what the thought process was. Like, okay, what are we going to do when people arrive and they're upset? Are we going to assume that they're just like, fuck it, I'm in Vegas, I don't care?
Right, yeah.
Or are they going to be pissed?
Well, they're going to be pissed. I mean,
and
anyway,
they were,
sorry.
because this Ariana made a video about it, put it on TikTok, and then that led to this blowing up. So it gets even deeper. Around the same time, Paragon Gaming, and Paragon Gaming actually operates the casino and holds the gaming license for OYO. They announced they were done and they were leaving the property. So Fifth Street Gaming, and Fifth Street Gaming is the operator of the casino for Downtown Grand, is now set to take over the casino as soon as they get regulatory approval. The timing, of course, suggests that Paragon may have left, like this might have been the last straw, but we don't have anything official that says that. Don't really know. I think that OYO is, I think that OYO Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas is OYO's only gaming property, but can't be 100% sure on that. So anyway, just a complete total shit show. It's like catfishing, but a hotel. Right.
Or like you go on not even catfishing. It's like you go on a dating website and see somebody's picture and you go to meet them in person and you're like, that is not what you look like. Which maybe is catfishing because you're using somebody else's photo to lure them in. Or in this case, an AI generated one. Oh my God. This whole thing is just, and what cracks me up is, OYO is literally right next to where they're building the ballpark. And in theory, OYO could start charging ridiculous rates in 2028 when the ballpark opens. Mm-hmm. But it ain't going to last very long with their reputation. I mean, shit, I would rather stay at Excalibur than I would stay at OYO based on everything that I've seen about it. And I think you guys know how I feel about Excalibur. Like, I have no desire to stay in the Dirty Castle whatsoever.
Sure.
I would stay at Circus before I stayed at OYO.
Really?
I would not.
Yeah.
Really? That
would be a tough one for me.
Yeah. Would you rather?
Yeah.
No.
That's a fun would you rather right there. That is a fun
that would
would you
be
rather.
tough. That would be tough. We'll skip that. Don't make me choose today, because there may be some emotional connection to one or the other, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Anger connection, something. Anyway.
Well.
Crazy.
All right, next up. Yeah, another shit show. Tell us about this Treasure Island Freeplay shit show.
All right, so Treasure Island announced $200 in free slot play to both new and existing Players Club members. So basically everybody. No prior gaming. You don't have to have any history with them at all. Each person who wanted to claim this could claim it one time. The original promotion was advertised Mondays through Wednesdays, starting last Monday, August 10th. So this went to shit fast.
Well, but it was supposed to run. Hold on, you're missing something. It started August 10th. It was supposed to run through September 7th.
Yes.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays for like 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, right?
Yep.
4 weeks, but still. So Monday, August 10th, promotion launches immediately has heavy demand, and there's long lines forming at the Players Club. So then on Tuesday, August 11th, it hit the RJ, and of course social media, and so wait times got even longer. This is only day 2 of this promotion. Reported wait times were several hours, especially for those who needed like replacement or new cards. On August 12th, which is now Wednesday, they cut it off at midnight. And there were some people who had been waiting in line for hours. I heard reports, not unconfirmed, but reports of people like crapping in the line.
Oh my God.
There were
For
security
$200.
started going for $200. Yeah. And security had gone through and told people, okay, we're cutting off the line, but if you're in line, you will get it. And then at like 11:59 said, oh, never mind.
Oh my God.
And then on Thursday, August 13th, Treasure Island terminated the promotion entirely, saying overwhelming response caused it to reach its planned capacity much earlier than expected.
Planned capacity. We didn't think this would get as much attention as it did. And oh shit, we lost our asses. So we're just going to stop doing this.
And apparently they only had 2 or 3 people working the rewards desk this entire time.
Of course. Of course.
My wife and I had a conversation about the shit show that was, this free play unfolding on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I guess I need to perhaps put a little alert or a warning that this may come across as a little elitist with what I'm about to say. But my time is more valuable than that when I'm in Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
When I come out to Vegas, I only get so many hours in the day while I'm there before I have to fly back home to Michigan. And so when I think about how I want to spend my time, I'm not saying having an extra $200 in free play wouldn't be a nice little chunk of change to drop into my otherwise pocketbook that I don't have to, pocketbook. Right. Jesus Christ, Tony. Grandpa. More like grandma in her pocketbook. Listen, that I don't have to go into my proverbial wallet and pull money out to go gamble with. I've got $200 that I wouldn't otherwise have had, and I can now gamble this at TI. Yes, of course, that would be wonderful to have. $200 is real money, but at some point you got to say to yourself, I don't need $200 in free play enough to watch a person take a bowel movement in front of me while we're waiting in line.
Right.
And so, if I can identify the fact that you ate corn on the cob yesterday, I don't want, that is not $200 well spent for me with my time. So, listen, I'm not going to judge people on how they want to use their time in Vegas. And maybe if I were a local, it would, it'd be an entirely different story. But for me, my wife and I just said, this seems like an awful, awful way to, well, and then, I heard, now to what degree any of this stuff is true and accurate is the Twitterverse. But, I've heard allegations of people just like cutting the front of the line. I've heard stories about people who allegedly were acting like they were friends of the people that were up next in line and then tried to saddle right in with them. I've heard, horror stories about that aspect as well. But the other thing, though, that I also don't know, just from a time standpoint, is I could never identify a line and be able to say, okay, at this point, this line is approximately 90 minutes, or the number of people in this line is going to obviously be a 4-hour wait. Like, I don't know that. So I guess in my opinion, I would look at a line, and when I see that there are more than 15, 20 people probably, that would regardless of however long that much time takes, I would probably be like, nope, Tony out. Just not interested in that.
Yeah.
But now that you're sharing with us, Josh, that there were only 2 individuals working the desk to accommodate this, this just sounds like a colossal utter fuck up. And then, of course, there were the funny memes that were going around on, say, Facebook and Twitter of people being like, and then, it's just like one of those, it's a meme that they used from a shot of The Godfather where all of the mobsters are sitting around what looks like a lounge table, a neon lounge table, and they're all laughing. And the header said, and then we told TI they should offer $200 in free play to their guests, and they believed it, or something along those lines. Yeah. This just seemed like a terrible, 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 all the way from the concept to the execution.
I think that's a great idea, right? Like they got headlines at first for good reasons, but you have to be prepared for a wave of people. You have to have people walking, like I have been at places where people with tablets are walking around saying, like at check-in for an MGM property, who just needs a new card, right? Trying to pull people out of the check-in line because I can help you do that right now, right? So I imagine it would be really simple to be doing that at the rewards desk. Who is already a member and just needs a new card? Right?
Sure.
Let's call in all our rewards people and we're going to pay them overtime. But everybody who's qualified to work at the rewards desk, we're going to have 6 stations, not 2 stations.
But, in theory, but here's the thing. Part of them, when they said, this program already reached its capacity, that meant that somewhere in their forecast of what this promotion was going to do, they were only going to get X number of people, dumb number, whatever it was. If this promotion was supposed to run for 3 days for 4 weeks, and they hit their capacity in the first 3 days, that means they seriously underestimated what this was going to do for them. And keep in mind, if you're giving away $200 into the slot machine, you have to assume there's going to be some kind of winning or some kind of cash out the door that's coming from that. That they're basically giving away free money. Right. Yes, it's $200 that draws them in. The likelihood of somebody even playing through their $200.
So you had to play through it once. That's all you had to do was play through it all once, and then you could cash out. Yeah. Right.
But so you play through your $200. And then assume that they cash out with whatever they have. That has cost the casino. I mean, the $200 in free play doesn't cost them anything. It's whatever the people cash out at. And unless they keep playing and put that back in, it's all straight money that the casino's just giving away. Yeah. Without anybody staying there, without anybody stopping to eat, without anybody doing anything else. So I think that somebody seriously underestimated the draw that this promotion was going to do. Sure. Probably for a couple reasons. One, because they've never done anything like this. And for what I know of some of the management folks there, they're big thinkers that think they have grandiose ideas. And which one of their execs there at TI was the one that convinced Ruffin that he had a buyer for Circus for the $5 billion. And that we know how spectacularly that fell through and failed.
Right.
So just what I know of the leadership team there, this does not surprise me at all that they completely fucked this up. And to your point of having more people on staff, so they thought they could run this promotion with their current staffing levels, which wouldn't cost them anything more than what they typically did. Right. Now to have to all of a sudden staff up, that's just costing them more time and more money with no necessary return to it.
So if they had done this, let's just say as a promotion, hotel guests, you have to book a room and be staying here. And whether you're brand new or whether you've been with us for years, $200, you think that would have been fine?
Yeah, because I don't think they would have gotten nearly the number of takers.
Right. And they would have recouped some of the costs in terms of additional stays
you'd have people
and F&B, and you're staying there, so you might be gambling more. Right.
And that would have been the way to do it, to say if you book a night and stay here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which are their slow nights anyway, then you're eligible for, whether you're a new or existing, then you're eligible for this $200. That would make sense. But to just say it's open to anybody and everybody, that's a big population of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they were and I don't know if they were advertising this like on their billboards along the street, Or because if you were doing that, then you have these random people walking by going, "Oh shit,
Right.
let's go play $200."
Sure.
Which again, there's something about when you're discounting, when you're doing a discount, and I learned this in the restaurant industry a long time ago. If you don't advertise it and get new bodies and new people in,
There's no
if you're
point.
only advertising in-house, right? All you're doing is trading down your existing customer base. This is even worse than that, because not only are you not just trading down your existing customer base, like you said, that were staying there, but now you're giving away free money to just random people
And
that don't
now,
have any incentive to spend it back.
because these people are not going to say, hey, TI is actually pretty cool. I like it here. These people are going to say, I had a shitty experience at TI because I was dumb enough to wait in line for 4 hours for $200, which I may not have even received.
And they lied to me and told me I could get this, and now I can't get it.
Yeah.
Or can't use it.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, Tony,
Sorry.
shit show could have applied to a lot of different stories here.
Well, and I'll tell you,
But wait.
this next one,
There's more.
there is more. Although this one is less shit show, and this one is more of either a man, that really is too bad, or we all knew this was coming. Talk to us about.
I think it's
Bally's
column
finale.
B.
So, Bally's, and for those people who aren't Vegas nerds like we are, Bally's, the corporation, did not own Bally's, the casino.
Right.
Okay. Bally's, the corporation, owned Tropicana, the casino, which was demolished for the A site. And as we go through this story, I want listeners to keep in mind that the Tropicana was a casino that was basically paid for and profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for some reason, they entered into an agreement with the Oakland Athletics to demolish that site to put in the stadium and a new casino. So their original proposed resort around the A Stadium included a plan for about 3,000 hotel rooms, of course, a casino, retail, dining, entertainment, the works. Now they're talking about developing it in phases. The first phase...
I think they did.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the initial proposal, but
that's kind of old
been
news.
Announced.
Right. The phases thing is not necessarily news at this point.
Right.
The first phase would be focused mainly on parking, and then utilities, and a stadium plaza, and some retail and dining. Okay. But the hotel and casino have been pushed to later phases and are not expected to open when the stadium is expected to open in 2028. And here's the part where it's like, this may never happen, at least with Bally's at the helm. Right. Bally's is facing major financial pressure. They have $4.5 billion in long-term debt, and they've had a sharp decline in cash reserves. So we got to talk about cities besides Las Vegas. I know a lot of us think that there are no cities besides Las Vegas, but Bally's won a bid to open a casino in Chicago.
Downtown Chicago. Like the city of Chicago said, we are going to let one casino open. And Bally's won that bid. And my understanding is that Bally's has never built a casino from the ground up before. They have purchased properties, but they have never built one from the ground up. But somehow they won this bid. They have been operating a temporary property somewhere else, and even this temporary property is losing money. Mm-hmm. Well, the temporary is in the city. It's downtown in the city as well. But it has not met expectations, to your point, at all, which does not bode well for them building something brand new. Right.
So this property in Chicago is under construction, and then for some reason, and I don't know all the details, but the city of Chicago licensed gaming machines at certain other properties in the city, think like Bar Top video poker and bar top slots and stuff at a bunch of other properties. And so Bally's, which is already under financial pressure, stops construction on the hotel and on the retail properties and says, wait a minute, City of Chicago, we had an agreement that it was going to be only us who had gaming in the city. And we're pissed that now you're licensing gaming. We're already struggling over here. And we're pissed that you're licensing gaming for all these other, people can go to their tavern down the street and do gaming. And they knew that stopping construction wasn't necessarily going to do anything. But now there's 1,500 union workers who are not working. And they're hoping that those 1,500 union workers are going to pressure city council into maybe re-examining licensing gaming at all these other properties.
Sure.
They also won a contract in New York to open a casino there. And they have sunk some $800 million into that contract, but have not even started construction yet. I don't know how that happens, but that's what Bally's has done. So in a filing...
Design fees and deposits.
I mean,
I'm not kidding you. Yeah.
EPA studies, stuff like that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So in a
Especially
recent...
if it's like a property that they're trying to redevelop that was something else. Then,
right.
Yeah.
And so the very troubling thing is, in a recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, Bally's warned of substantial doubt. These are their words, Bally's words, substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a growing concern without raising additional capital in some way, shape, or form. We need more money to keep
not growing.
Sorry.
You said growing concern. It's a going concern. That means just the fact of us being able to keep doing what we're doing. It's not likely. Yeah. So they already have $4.5 billion in debt, but they need more.
Right. So
just to keep going.
Again, just like too long didn't read. They sold and demolished their property in Vegas that was paid for and profitable. They now have two properties, Chicago and New York, that they've sunk a bunch of money in, and who knows when those will become profitable for them. And now they're spending money, or looking at spending a bunch of money, on the Tropicana site for a new property alongside the stadium. And so they were probably looking, a lot of speculation about them looking at selling their development rights at the Tropicana site to another company. Now, Vital Vegas said it's Boyd Gaming that will probably purchase those rights, but
that would be interesting.
Completely unconfirmed. Boyd has been trying to get a presence on the Strip. People who know their history will know that Boyd owned the Stardust site and then basically lost it with the Echelon process, or with the Echelon project after they demolished the Stardust.
The recession, the Great Recession hit, which nobody saw coming. Yeah. So, yeah.
So Boyd has been trying to get back on the Strip ever since then. So, I mean, theoretically, that could be it, but this is all unconfirmed by anyone here. So, bottom line, Las Vegas site for a Bally's resort has not officially been canceled, but if we look at all the numbers and what's going on at all these different sites, it stands to reason that they would sell, hey, we've got development going here. There's going to be a ballpark. All we need is somebody.
The ballpark's happening.
Right, the ballpark's happening. Like, if you've seen that site, it's happening. Even if you don't want it to happen, it's happening. So it's prime for somebody else to come in and say, okay, I know this is kind of a done deal. This is a ripe market. I will build a casino and hotel there instead of Bally's. Like, that makes sense. And then maybe giving them then the cash to finish Chicago, finish New York. We'll see. So it's kind of like a whole lot of different things happening at once. We'll see.
This doesn't, and I guess Tony said it could have been, one of two things at the beginning of this. The second one being, we kind of knew this was going to happen. That's kind of where my camp was. Like, you knew this was going to be a disaster. I'm surprised that they got the funding to build the ballpark, which they're going ahead and doing. which is also kind of a screwed up, thing to that whole deal. To then try to build a casino around the ballpark is just going to be a mess. But this doesn't surprise me because their issues in Chicago had been long discussed and everything else for years before they demolished the Tropicana. So this doesn't surprise me. And it's like, okay, this wish and a prayer thing just doesn't always work out.
Right.
It breaks my heart that this was the second place we had to lose for realistically no reason.
Right.
We lost the Riviera. They paved Paradise to put in a parking lot. And now we've got the Trop that could still be there and could still be doing stuff. I mean, I'm thrilled. I am thrilled that Hard Rock is coming in and doing something with the Mirage building and location. That is exactly how Las Vegas should be.
Right.
Las Vegas should be, if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it and we're going to follow through with it. Not this, we're going to blow bullshit down and maybe we'll put something back in its place.
Right.
That's what I think turns people off to the hype and the excitement and the allure of Vegas. You take that shine off from Las Vegas when you do the things that you've done to the Tropicana and the Riviera. What saves it is when someone like, say, Hard Rock comes in and does what they say they're going to do at the Mirage location. And if Boyd Gaming can get in there, good on them. That would be wild to see an arguably downtown locals type casino.
It's a locally owned company. Yeah, 100%.
Come in and have I was going to say a position on the strip, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
Well, not even just a position on the strip, but potentially a really, really good one.
Right, and in the heart of MGM territory, right?
Yes,
and giving them a run for their money on, well, we're going to do this, right? Because
so not only would they be like right there by the ballpark, but that puts them within a shot of Allegiant Stadium. Yeah. And right now, MGM has such a stranglehold on that end of the strip, from parking rates to room rates to everything else. Boyd could come in and undercut all the resorts. Boyd could come in and undercut their roommates' rates on a NFL game day weekend by 50% and make a killing. And they'll be, now granted, MGM will probably still sell a shitload of rooms.
Right.
But at that point, Boyd, that's fine. I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank. And I'm going to, build this corner right there by the ballpark, right on Las Vegas Boulevard, where you think of what the Tropicana had with kind of the fountains and the walkway and the little park, like all that front real estate, that they're going to redevelop into shopping and retail and everything else to draw people in and get people to spend time there. It's not a bad site. You just have to have the money to do it.
Right. You can't be a cash poor company that's trying to build in 3 markets at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And then finally in the news, we've got a Caesars purchase.
Yeah, and this is really just a follow-up to something we discussed several episodes back. We did discuss, first of all, the Tillman Fertitta purchase, or, offer to purchase Caesars, and then Carl Icahn's competing bid. So Carl Icahn did indeed top Tillman Fertitta's offer to buy Caesars Entertainment. His final offer was $34 a share to Fertitta's $31 a share. Caesars and Fertitta extended that go shop period, originally slated to end July 11th, for another month. And this was all done quietly. Like, I was kind of keeping an eye on this and didn't hear anything. They did extend it for another month, allowing Caesars the chance to fully consider that Icahn offer. And Caesars was basically unhappy with some of the terms of Icahn's bid. And so they declined that offer, and they opted to move forward with the Fertitta bid on August 10th. Now, no word yet on when that sale is expected to actually close, and when, of course, all Gordon Ramsay restaurants on the Strip will be replaced with Bubba Gump Shrimp and Rainforest Cafes.
Oh, that's cute. That's fine. Listen, Keren, you're the one that is a bit of a naysayer as it relates to Carl Icahn. Do you think that going with Fertitta, let's scratch that. How do you think going with Fertitta versus Icahn plays out now. And I guess that to a certain degree,
So
I'm
much
asking
better.
you to look in your crystal ball. What do you think would have happened under Icon, and what do you think will happen under a Fertitta?
Well, I mean, I talked about it before when we announced that Icon had a competing bid. Like he's a corporate raider. He goes in and he dismantles companies and sells it off for parts, and till he gets his money, and then he'll spin it for more than it's worth after he's basically raped everything of value out of it. So from that standpoint, I think Caesar's, selling to Fertitta is much better for the properties in general. I still think that Fertitta may be a little particular about which properties he keeps and what he does.
Okay.
But I definitely think that as far as for the casino folks, like people that want to go to Caesar's or they're part of their rewards or whatever, I think having Fertitta as the owner, I mean, again, there'll be changes, but I don't think it will be as drastic and as detrimental as if Icon.
It will leave Caesars less fragmented.
Yeah.
With Fertitta than with Icon. I think Icon.
How do you mean? How do you define how you mean the word fragmented?
So
in that
I
sentence?
think like to Karen's point about stripping and selling for parts. I think I picture. So let me say I picture both buyers selling properties because that company has so much debt that like you've got to start paying that off immediately. I think that Fertitta does that a little more strategically. Like I want to hold on to as much of this asset as possible. And so I'm looking at other markets and maybe one or two properties in Las Vegas that I sell off to pay down the debt. I think Icon just says, I want to get as much money for this as possible. And so he just breaks the company up into, and he's selling off like a property at a time for as much as he can get for it. And he doesn't care how many, what kind of common ownership he can get for it. That's how I picture this playing out under those two different pathways.
All right.
Agreed.
The fun part is I think you're both right and I think you're both wrong, and there's no way I will be able to prove which one of those is accurate. All right, that's going to do it for the news. Let's roll into the medley.
It's time for the medley. A little this, a little that, a couple chips from the stack. What's happening in Vegas?
The medley is a bunch of random nuggets of information that we thought you might find interesting. First up, the Crazy Horse 3 abruptly closed on August 11th. We're sure that our listeners will still manage to find some other locations in Las Vegas to see naked women.
In the ongoing tug-of-war with the Eagles, the Backstreet Boys have added additional shows at the Sphere on December 26th and 27th. The group was already slated to perform at the Sphere on December 31st as well as January 1st and 2nd.
Mad Apple is closing at New York, New York on Labor Day weekend. The final show is tentatively set for September 5th. Mad Apple opened only 4 years ago on May 12th, 2022, and celebrated its 2000th show on August 8th. I don't get this.
Have either of
makes
you
me
seen
sad.
Mad Apple?
I've seen it twice.
I've seen it.
I have said before, I feel like this is a good Cirque light show, light as in like just a small dose of Cirque, because I myself like watching O or watching Mystère, which I think are very pure Cirque shows. I get bored, like it's just too much weird, And this has some acrobatics, but it's not like so much that I get almost tired of seeing it. It's acrobatics, and it's like Absinthe.
It's a variety show. Yeah. It's an absinthe type show.
And Cirque had an adorable little baby because you have live musicians and singers, and you have the acrobatics of Cirque, and you have comedians, and they've done a very good job of curating their comedian content. I feel like this is a less expensive show to put on than Mystère or O or Ka. And so I don't get this. I think they've had low ticket sales. The last time we went was at some point this year. I don't remember when, but they were not selling any tickets for the balcony level in that theater. It was all the lower level. So I don't know what's going on here. Apparently, when like the RJ reached out to MGM for a commentary, they directed people to Cirque, and Cirque did not respond. So it sounds like MGM's saying this is a Cirque decision. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, and that's interesting that you'd say that too about the whole having MGM just direct the questions over to Cirque. Our buddy Shane over on the Discord, and again, folks, if you're not a part of the Discord, you are really missing out on some free, excellent banter and conversation of on subjects that I'm sure are right up your alley if you're listening to this podcast. But Shane asked the question: do we think that this is that maybe we're and I'm over elaborating on what he said, but effectively my takeaway of this question was, are we about 2 or 3 steps down the path of Cirque starting to just close up shop in Vegas based on the things that have closed thus far? Having seen zero and having zero interest in seeing any Cirque shows, because I think when I think of Cirque, I think of and Mystere, where Josh, I appreciate you saying that, Mad Apple is a different kind of show. Insofar as if, and it's a big if, but if I were to go see any of them, I guess that would be the one I would.
This would be the one for you. Yeah.
But you two being Cirque fans, which I am not, so I'm not even trying to inject myself in this conversation. I ask, do you agree with Shane's perhaps? Do you agree with my synopsis of things that Shane didn't even say when I say it's
there's
2
the
or 3
cocktails
steps
kicking in?
That's right. Shane is going to be like, dude, I didn't say anything about what. Go ahead.
So I will say I have no data on how well O and Mystere and Ka are selling. I've heard that Ka sales went down for a while, but have kind of rebounded. But I don't have any data on this. I think that those shows have probably paid for themselves at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like many times over. And so it might be all profit. I also think, so the theater at New York, it would be very easy to put another act in there, the way that theater is set up. But if you think about there's a massive water tank underneath your theater. Like that theater was built for that show. And so putting something else in there is going to require significant expense, right? I don't think that that's a thing that Cirque as an organization would be necessarily concerned with, but MGM might be. I don't know. When we see that O can and Michael Jackson 1 can demand $250 tickets night after night after night, it seems like we don't really have a demand issue there if they're able to do that. And for some reason, people were not coming to see the show, which, again, kind of confounds me.
Well, I also think part of it is they don't understand what the show is. So if you think about it, if you're going to see O, again, that's been around for so long, it's the water show. Ka, you have some idea of what that's about, even though you really don't until you get there.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's 1. Okay. Everybody knows what that is.
Sure.
I think though when it gets to Mad Apple, and I get that it's a reference to New York, which is the property that it's in. I get the play on words, but I wonder if people just don't know what the show is, and so they, it flies under the radar. I don't know. Okay. But I thought it was a really good show. I mean, I would go back to see it again in a heartbeat, which is disappointing that it's closing up very quickly because it's like 2 weeks.
Next up, they finally have listened to me. I have told Caesars I want some actual respect for my play, and so they've come through. Caesars has announced a new tier level to be called Olympus that sits above the 7 stars level. It's estimated that it would take $1.5 million in coin in to reach this level, and it's invite only. Here's the deal. When you, I screamed this when they were watering down the diamond level, and then that they had to end up creating this diamond plus and diamond elite and diamond in your front tooth status. When you are allowing for 10x multipliers for tier points, that is going to water down what it means to get to some of these different statuses. So when you've watered it down, you've effectively eliminated everything, the value of what it takes to be a diamond and the value of what it takes to become a 7-star by 10x, right? You could lop a 0 off the end of the number, and that's the real number you actually have to earn for the purposes of becoming some sort of diamond or 7-star person.
Yeah.
So when you water it down like that, you have to create another tier, which is this Olympus thing. I just don't get it. I just don't understand why Caesars does this. And obviously there are people much, much smarter than me that have no doubt crunched the numbers, and they think that there's value here in creating this Olympus thing while doing 10x for
Well, apparently
tier
not much smarter at Caesars because, again, they're up for sale again. So, again.
Well, and I hope that this is something that Fertitta comes in and just says, I'm done with this bullshit dog and pony show stuff. Because that's really what it is. It's nothing but bells and whistles that they're adding to these things to distract you, to make you try to, go in and play your 10x so that you can maybe get up to, a level higher than what you deserve. Just make it, boom, this is what you gamble. This is what you're worth to us. Here's how we're going to reward you for it.
I just want to know.
Rant over.
I just want to know why the highest tier level wasn't already called Olympus before, because to me that's a no-brainer.
Oh, sure. Based on, Caesars and the whole idea of, yeah, it seems brilliant. That's all I've got. I'm done being crabby for a few minutes.
Vital Vegas reports that the downtown Grand has a new buyer. The hotel, which has been in receivership, received a purchase deposit of $2.7 million from, quote, Vegas Ventures LLC, a relatively unknown company filed in Massachusetts. As we stated in our story earlier on OYO, Fifth Street Gaming is expected to continue running casino operations at Downtown Grand, which is funny. And it's a good thing I read the notes, because when you said that Fifth Street that runs downtown was going to run OYO, I'm like, wait a minute, I thought downtown was for sale, but it's the hotel and the property that's for sale, not the gaming operation. Right. So that makes more sense.
And the Neon City Festival, downtown's answer to F1 weekend in November, has announced their lineup. Headliners include Fat Joe, Cascade, Marshmello, Subtronics, and The Fray.
This is probably the earliest that they've announced their lineup since they started doing this festival. I think this is the third year. And before, you were a month out from the race, and they hadn't announced any of the lineup yet. So this they must be finding it easier to attract folks in.
Yeah.
Ask old man Snyder how many of these individuals he's ever heard of before. I know The Fray. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm like, how to save a life. Yeah.
There you go.
That's not even how the song goes.
Yeah.
Wow. That was, you know what? I'll search for the rest of that tune at the bottom of this glass.
I have heard of Fat Joe. I have heard of Marshmello, but the only group on here that had a song that I could associate with them is The Fray as well. So I'm right there with you, buddy.
I have heard of Cascade.
Okay.
I could not tell you why.
You put that in your dishwasher, right?
Right. No, it's Cascade with 2 Ks, not Cs. But yes.
We're switching. We're switching some things up. That's really hard to say. Is that hard to say, or is it just me?
No, I think it's when you're at the bottom of a gin and tonic is when it's harder to say.
A wine glass full, and a big red wine glass goblet full of gin and tonics.
Dare I say a goblet? A goblet.
A goblet. A goblet.
Listeners at home, have you seen the meme where it shows the woman that says the doctor said I'm allowed to have 1 glass of wine a day?
And it pours the whole bottle into the glass?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're switching some things up a bit today. We normally have a review here, but instead, Keren is going to explain Michelin stars and Las Vegas.
This is a new segment. We don't have bumper music yet. Please just roll with it.
And I am. And I have to thank dear friend of the show, Tony Armstrong Jr. We talked about Michelin star ratings, I don't know, a couple episodes ago and how they weren't rating Vegas anymore. And she, tagged me in on something on socials and said, I would be really interested to hear about what these stars are, why they're no longer in Vegas, and why they may be coming back. So, because of that, I had to do some research, which meant I had to do work for the show, which I don't normally do.
What?
So, and some of this stuff I think people know. The entire Michelin Stars program was created by the same company that makes tires. So you think of the Michelin tires, yes, it's the same company. It's the Michelin Tire Company.
This part of the story is wild to me, is like why they did this, which is fascinating.
So it was in 1900, the first Michelin guide was published as a free marketing guide. And really it was meant to encourage people to go on road travel and trips and therefore wear out their tires, so they had to buy more. And so that was the entire part of it. And again, Michelin started in France, so the entire first guide was based in France, and different places that you could drive, within that country. Now, it relaunched in 1920 as a paid-for guide after one of the Michelin brothers found the free version propping up a table. And he basically said, look, people value what they pay for. And because we put this out for free, nobody cared. They could grab it and use it, whatever, never looked at it. But once you start paying for it, then it has value. So, and a lot of it, it was restaurants to stop at. It was fun events. It was museums. It was whatever. I mean, it ran the gambit of things. But by 1931, they started developing the rating system that we now have today, which is the 3-star rating system. So in order to earn a Michelin star, if you have 1 star, you're a very good restaurant in your category. If you have 2 stars, you are excellent cooking that is worth a detour. And if you have 3 stars, it is an exceptional cooking experience worth a special journey. So like the 3 stars are like, that's a destination restaurant.
Okay.
The 2 stars, if you're kind of close, make a detour because you're really going to want to go there. And a 1 star was like, that's great. Now, I think the stars have become a little more exclusive because you can have some really good restaurants that don't have Michelin stars, but that's, what they originally started with.
But originally 3 stars was like, this is worth the trip alone just to do this is basically, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Now, another interesting fact was that during World War II, the Allied forces reprinted the book because its maps were considered the most reliable of anything that was in publication. And so the Allies were actually using the maps in the Michelin guidebook to plan their strategies.
That's amazing. Okay.
Which I find that, again, just funny. So now, again, remember I said this started in France, originally in 1900, paid guide in 1920. In 1956, the first country outside of France got its own guidebook published, and that was Italy. Which, if you think about food outside of France, because the French think that they have the market cornered on food. They think theirs is the best and most classic, and the whole reason why. Italy, I would have to say, was probably a close second right behind there.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Now, it did not expand. The Michelin Guidebook did not expand outside of Europe to the U.S. until 2005. And that started in New York City. So think about that. Not until 2005 did they rate anything in the United States.
What?
Oh my gosh, that seems wild.
Which to me is crazy, especially when we get back. I'll kind of tell you a little bit. They added Vegas in 2008. So they started in the U.S. and New York, and I don't know all the because I was focused on, when they came to the U.S. and when Vegas was involved.
Sure.
But did not come to the U.S. until 2005, and then rated Las Vegas for the first time in 2008. Now, before we get into how the star, like everything that happened in Vegas, like how the stars are awarded, it's based on 5 criteria. Number 1 is the quality of the ingredients. 2 is the mastery of flavor and cooking techniques. 3 is the personality of the chef in the cuisine. So you can't just do your standard beef bourguignon recipe.
Right.
It's got to be something that's fun, entertaining, and you can see the chef in it.
So if Josh was cooking, you would expect a lot of sarcasm and stuff like that to come through in the burger. Right. Okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Number 4 is the value for the money. And number 5... Well, hold on. We'll get to why you're laughing about that a little bit. Because it does tend to be a lot of the higher end restaurants that have the Michelin stars. But that's not really the case if you think about it. Those are the ones you hear about, all the time. And I will get to an example in Vegas that speaks to that specifically of a restaurant that does have a Michelin star.
Okay.
But then the 5th criteria is consistency across multiple visits. So this is not just a one-time in, you impress the heck out of the Michelin taster and you get your star.
Not like the scene in Ratatouille where he's taken back in time to his childhood.
Critic.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I think is different about the Michelin stars, because a food critic, like if there's, and I can't remember the name, there was a guy that wrote for like the LA Times who was well known, and he was a very nice food critic. He usually, if he didn't like you, wouldn't say anything bad, but if he really liked you, he would talk you up like there's no tomorrow. Okay. But everybody knows who they are, right? They know you're a food critic because you write for this paper and you write for that.
Sure.
The Michelin diners are completely anonymous. And I'll a little plug at the end. We can talk a little bit more about what it takes to be a Michelin diner. But they are completely anonymous. And there are restaurants, though, that will go to all kinds of ends lengths to figure out who the Michelin diners are. But they are not
They don't come
people.
in dressed like the Michelin Man.
They don't. They don't.
Okay. I'm so disappointed.
Okay, although there may be an opportunity for you to see the Michelin Man here in Vegas for just such a thing, but we'll get to that in a little bit. All right. So, Michelin in Vegas. Michelin only rated Las Vegas for 2 years, 2008 and 2009. And what happened in 2008 and 2009?
The Great Recession.
The Great Recession.
Yeah.
And Vegas was one of the markets that was hit the hardest. I mean, the housing market here, everything, the economy completely tanked in Las Vegas. But during that 2-year run, they awarded stars to 17 restaurants. Again, we talked about the economic climate changed out here. Tourism plummeted. Hotel occupancy plummeted. A lot of local foreclosure rates were really high, everything. Which is part of the reason that Michelin pulled Vegas. The other part of the reason they pulled Vegas was, quite honestly, financing and sponsorship. A lot of the reason that Michelin will go and visit sites and rate restaurants and locations is because they get money from the tourism board of the local municipality. Say, hey, we'll help fund you to send people here.
Okay.
So if we help fund to send people here, then hopefully, they will meet your criteria and be awarded stars. Well, the economy tanked in Vegas and the Visitors Bureau had no more money to give, and so there was no funding.
So the
LVCVA?
Yes. Probably cut expenditures and no longer paid Michelin to come out and do stuff, among other things. Okay.
Among other things. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So that all played into it. The economy, which then fed into the lack of funding and sponsorships. Now, it is very important to note that Michelin is returning to Las Vegas. And they're returning to Las Vegas in an award ceremony to be held in Fontainebleau on August 26th. So this coming week. On Wednesday. Yeah. Now, they will be announcing new Michelin star winners, but for the first time, it is across a multi-state geography. So the guides have been posted kind of for cities or for states. Mm-hmm. This time, it's covering Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. So most likely the visitors bureaus in those states have kind of gotten together and pooled and said, hey, let's all go in on this. Let's get you guys out here and let's get, and quite honestly, especially Arizona, I think in New Mexico, like in Southwest has been a big food focus for like the James Beard Awards, which is a whole nother conversation, but other foodie kind of things, you know, with Scottsdale and, you know, being kind of an up and coming market around Phoenix and all this other kind of stuff. But yeah, so as of this next Wednesday, which means I may have a list to share with you guys the next time on who got Michelin stars. You know, that's coming and it's happening next week, which I'm super excited about. Now, I have a list of the restaurants that have been awarded and whether they're still open or closed. It's 17 restaurants. I don't know if you guys want me to go through all of that or not. Yeah,
let's like, if you want to rattle them off, and then, you know, we don't have to have a discussion about every one, though.
All right, so these are in alphabetical order, and we'll start with the 1 stars. So you had Elise at Palms, that closed in 2017. Andres downtown, closed in 2009. Areole at Mandalay, closed in 2023. Bradley Ogden at Caesars, closed in 2012. DB Brasserie at Wynn, closed in 2017. DJT, which is in the Trump Tower, is still open. I can never say this right. L'Atier de Joel Robuchon at MGM is still open and operating.
Okay.
We're like at 2 out of 7 at this point, right?
We have 2 that are still open. Yes. Yeah. Of the list that I've given you. Le Cirque at Bellagio is closing this month or has closed this month.
Yeah.
Mesa Grill was awarded a star in 2008 and lost that star in 2009.
Wow.
That was in Caesars. It officially closed in 2020.
Wow, that was a Bobby Flay restaurant.
Huh?
That was a Bobby Flay restaurant.
It was a
Mesa
Bobby
Grill.
Flay restaurant. Yep, they had it for 1 year and lost it. Wow. Michael Mina at Bellagio, which is still open.
Yes.
Mix at Mandalay, which closed in 2018. Nobu at the Hard Rock, which I believe is still in the Hard Rock as version, I think.
I don't know if Nobu is there anymore. I'm not sure.
I know there's a Nobu in Caesars.
Yes.
And there's now a Nobu, I think, also inside Paris. But those...
Where did you say Virgin?
Yes.
It's Virgin now. Virgin? Yeah, it was the Hard Rock at the time, but I think it's inside Virgin now. But I don't think the other Nobus, so it's not like once a location gets a Michelin star, they all have Michelin stars if they have multiple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So is it still there, Tony? Are you looking?
It is. It is open. Yeah.
So
Nobu,
yes.
Virgin.
So on that note, when a location gets a Michelin star, if they have other locations, they're considered Michelin stars, and that's why even though Michelin has not been to Vegas since 2009, Gymkhana, which just opened at Aria, is considered Michelin star because they won.
It's not. It doesn't cross locations.
Okay, so they have touted it as Michelin starred. The Gymkhana is opening a location at Aria.
Yes,
it's not because the Aria location won a Michelin star. It's because another
the original location.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Then we have Restaurant Charlie at Palazzo, which closed in 2010, and Wing Lee at Wynn, which is still open. Mm-hmm. So of the 1 stars, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them still open. All right. Then you have the 2-star restaurants. That is Alex at Wynn, which closed in 2011. Guy Savoy at Caesars, which is still open. And Picasso at Bellagio, which closed in 2024.
Yeah.
Now, there was 1 restaurant in Las Vegas that earned 3 stars. And it's the only restaurant in Las Vegas' history to earn 3 stars. And that's Joel Robuchon at MGM Grand, which is still open.
Okay.
So, what's interesting about this is the restaurants that are currently open that have the Michelins could lose them with this next round. So just because you've earned one doesn't mean you get to keep it.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the 7 that are still open that have a star, 2 or 3 are at risk of losing it.
Kind of like, they were kind of maybe happy that Michelin had not been back for,
Could be.
17 years, but now maybe shitting their pants a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Because of we've been coasting, potentially coasting on this.
And touting our Michelin stars and might not get it.
Okay.
I will say, as somebody who did, as a bucket list dining last year, go to Joel Robuchon at MGM Grand, I don't know how that restaurant can't keep its stars, because it was unbelievable. The service was amazing. The food was incredible. The value for the money, again, not cheap, as you were saying, but the value for the money was totally worth it.
Okay.
Last thing that I'll kind of throw out here is, with the award ceremony coming up next week, there is some massive buzz for off the strip restaurants. And I'm going to be so excited to figure out which ones get there. But like the off strip restaurants that people are talking about are Sparrow and Wolf, Partage, Amador Covina Fina, which is, I believe, an Ethiopian restaurant off strip, and Esther's Kitchen.
Okay.
So at least 3 out of those 4 I've been to, and they're phenomenal. Now there's a couple high end or omakase restaurants that are up, or people are talking about. One is A by Jose Andres, which is the chef's table inside Haleo and Cosmo. ITO and Endo, neither one of which I'm 100% familiar with. But then there also are some strip contenders that people are talking about. And I'll just, again, these are alphabetical. My favorite, Bizarre Meat, is getting a lot of buzz. Karama, which is a Wolfgang Puck restaurant in Mandalay. And Sartanio's at Wynn. So it's going to be a little bit of a shakeup next week, which I will be anxiously awaiting to hear what's going to happen.
I'm glad we talked about it now. I'm glad we're talking about it to have kind of an idea of like going into it, so that we can say, okay, so remember last week we said X, Y, and Z got it, and they might lose it. Sure enough, X and Y no longer have it. But Esther's Kitchen, good golly, I just love Esther's Kitchen so much.
I know, I really hope. But all of them, Sparrow and Wolf and Partage, are such great restaurants.
Are they? Okay.
That I really hope so. And of course, anything by Jose Andres, I hope gets it. So whether it's A or whether it's Bizarre. But yeah, I love the off-strip local restaurants. I really hope. And that's where, one of the other things with these Michelin stars is people always think it's high-end restaurants. There's like food court or food trucks and stuff that are on their radar that they will.
Yeah. So that's because we talked about last week, Via's Tacos arriving at Durango, and I guess it was said Michelin recognized. So apparently the location in one of the locations in Southern California has a star or has a mention or something, or I don't know. It says Michelin recognized. So maybe the Michelin people are like, oh yeah, there's Via's Tacos right there. I don't know. But it was enough.
They may not have a star, but I'm sure there's enough of a buzz in there that Michelin has given them some kind of a mention of like, if you're here, check this out, do that kind of a thing. I think the stars are like the pinnacle of the pinnacle. I don't think you have to have a star to get into the guidebook to be mentioned in it.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely having a star is a big win. Yeah, there's a whole documentary, and now I wish I could remember what it was, but it's about this restaurant that's literally like down in the subway in New York City, and it's this tiny little like 10-seat restaurant, super high-end, super fancy, can't get a reservation in there, and they are fighting to get a Michelin star. And the documentary is fascinating if you like food, which I do, but they're always trying to figure out who the Michelin diner is. And I'm not kidding you. Like, I actually Googled, because I'm like, that would be fun. How do I become, a Michelin diner?
Yeah.
It's a very extensive selection process, and it's also very confidential. Like if you're a Michelin diner, you can't tell anybody that you're a Michelin
Anyone.
diner.
Yeah.
And you won't necessarily visit restaurants in your territory, your area. It requires extensive travel. It also requires, from this one article I read, a lot of aliases. Because you can't always go in as yourself. You have to go in and register under somebody else. And this one diner was like, I probably have 10 different aliases and I have credit cards under each one of them that I have to use to go dine. And
wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is not, and it used to be like you had to have a photographic memory because you had to be able to very clearly articulate what the food looked like. Because back in the day, if you were taking a picture of your food, people were like, what are they doing? Now that's not so much a requirement.
Everyone's doing it, yeah.
Right, everyone's doing it. But there's a whole interview process. They will send you in, to taste with an experienced diner. And, you have to kind of write it up in your observations and what did you notice? They usually look for somebody that's got industry experience, whether it's working in restaurants, whether it's working in a kitchen. You have to have a palate to be able to understand and explain what it is you're eating. And be able to kind of determine where that ranks compared to other places. So, would it be fun? Yes. Does it sound like a lot of work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get that.
So
nice.
All right. That's all I got. I'm done rambling, guys.
No, this was good. This was
that was really insightful.
Fascinating. And like Tony said, I think this, like, I wish I could say we planned it like this. Like, we're doing it in this episode, and then the next episode we could talk about the new ones.
Well, and that's what was funny, because when Tony first mentioned this, and I started doing research, I'm like, oh, they're coming back, and that's cool. And I reached out to you, Josh. I'm like, hey, can we put this on? I had completely forgotten the date. And so when I was going back through my notes, I was like, oh, shit, that's next week.
Perfect.
So, the timing worked out great.
Now, up next, we normally have some listener feedback. But we've got so much listener feedback, we're going to roll it all up into our first Satchel episode to be recorded and released soon. Do you want to comment on that real quick, Josh, on what you were telling us off mic about how phenomenal the listeners have been?
Yeah, we've got a couple trip reports from listeners and a few other things. And I started to put into a document, and it was like 8 pages. Of
which is a lot.
Yeah. And so it is a lot. And I wanted to, anybody who takes the time to submit feedback, submit trip report, whatever, I want to give them like the attention that deserves. I mean, shit, that's how I got started with this group of people, was writing in.
It is.
And so I want to give that. And now you're the
boss.
And now I'm the boss.
And now you're the boss. That's
this
right.
is so wild. So I want to, anyway, I want to give.
Careful what you do, listeners. This could be you. This could be you in 10 years.
Sucked into this crap. No.
Right.
So I do want to give, I am so grateful for everyone who takes the time. And there's some amazing stuff. I've read through some of it, and I want to make sure it gets the time it deserves. We're at an hour and a half in right now. So we're going to do our first Satchel episode. I will give it the very nebulous soon that we'll release that, but soon we will have that. I do want to give a shout out.
We've picked a date to record it. The question is if everything works out according to plan.
Right.
Will we stick to that date, right? I do want to give a shout out. We're recording today on the 21st, which is my birthday neighbor, John Chandler. It's his birthday today. He's celebrating in Vegas. It was my birthday yesterday, so we're birthday neighbors. Yep. And I have been remiss in also giving a shout out to John, because so John teaches, so he has summers off. And John reached out to me as he was approaching his summer break. He said, what can I do to help with the show? I'm so glad you guys are recording. What can I do to help? And I said, John, the thing that right now is the hardest, that takes a lot of time and I dislike the most, is just putting the show together and doing the research on, especially like, what do I put in the medley? And John put together like a AI service that combs all sorts of resources and puts them in one place for me.
Oh,
so
my
that
God.
I can look through that and grab little nuggets for the medley. It has been a tremendous time saver. I have been remiss in thanking John on the podcast for the work he put into putting that together. So he did that during his summer when he had time on his hands.
When he had time. That's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you, John, for doing that. I hope you're having an awesome birthday. He did give us a very generous karma donation, so I'm pretty sure that is 100% guaranteed, and he's having a great time.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
So I wanted to just
Guaranteed.
thank him for all those things that he's done in support of the show. So
That is very nice. That is very nice, John. It to take anything off from Josh's hands, is incredibly appreciative from two people who do literally nothing to
Absolutely
take
nothing.
work off from Josh's hands. So Josh, John, you're kind of you are kind of sort of a co-host here in a way that you don't even realize, because you've helped us out. You've helped, especially Josh. So thank you for that. I think that's going to do it for today's show. We want to thank you for listening. We really do appreciate that you took the time to join us in the Neon Lounge.
You can find all of our stories on our website at neonlounge.vegas.
you can also find us on social media, including Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, Twitter, and we are on Instagram now.
Oh, you figured it out, huh?
I got it. Yeah. And we've got reels that we've got now. I'm starting to push them out on more and more of those platforms like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. Just little snippets from the things that we're recording that I think people will enjoy. Like we've got the latest one is from the bonus episode that we did with Movestro that aired last weekend. Just a whole a minute about us talking about Wayne Newton's special cameo in the movie that we watched. So fun stuff like that. So please follow us on those platforms.
Join the conversation on Discord. We're on the 360 Vegas Discord server. An invite can be found in the show notes.
If you'd like to send in any feedback, you can email us at neonloungepodcast@gmail.com or call our voicemail line at 702-900-7964. If we like your email or your voicemail, we might even play it on the show.
Vegas Icons and Legends is available to purchase on Amazon.com.
We have Neon Lounge merch. You can get all kinds of cool Neon Lounge apparel, drinkware, etc. at Zazzle.com/Neon Lounge. If there is something you would like to see that you don't see in the store, let Josh know and he'll figure something out.
Do you like what we're doing here? Would you like more of it? Support us to get access to commercial-free and early release episodes, as well as bonus content at patreon.com/Neon Lounge Podcast.
Keren, how can our listeners find you?
I am at 360 Vegas Keren. Tony, how about you?
For now, I'm still at 360 Vegas Tony. Josh, where are you at?
I am at 360 Vegas J-Dubs, or you can find me at any of the socials that we've listed in the show notes. We have had a great time today in the lounge with you all, but it's last call, so until next time, cheers.
Cheers.
It's the Neon Lounge. Your server is always prompt. In the Neon Lounge, where the cocktails are all count. We're serving up what you crave. Resort fees are always waived at the Neon Lounge.
How to save a life.